Today's guest has been seen on Broadway in shows like Legally Blonde, A Catered Affair, and Elf. This summer, she's starring in the brand new musical comedy Nobody Loves You at Second Stage Theater. Please welcome Leslie Kritzer.
Yay.
Hi.
Hi.
You look pretty.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm great.
You're in a new musical.
I'm in a new musical.
How's that?
Oh, it's so much fun. It's all about reality television, which I love.
Dating shows, right?
It's like very much like, not like The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, because it's like one person with all these people, but it's people trying to get matched up with someone. And so it's like a dating show, and this guy, Jeff, who's played by Brian Fenkart, goes to follow his girlfriend because she wants to audition for the show, and so he auditions too to try to follow her because they break up, and then you follow him through what the show's about and falling.
Are there hot tubs and stuff?
There is a hot tub. There is a hot tub.
Like a dirty Jersey Shore hot tub?
Yes, and Laura Molina gets in that hot tub.
She likes to walk around in bikinis. That's her
And she
shtick.
looks, and you know what? She looks good in one. God bless, because I wouldn't do it. I'm like, oh no.
This seems like a good opportunity to bring up the fact that you're married.
I'm married.
You have a wedding ring on. You
I
got
have a
married.
wedding
When was
ring.
that, last year? This year?
February.
February. You just got married at City Center.
At City Center.
Because you met your man
I met
at
my-
City Center
Yeah,
in the
well,
lobby. So you
I-
got married there.
I got married there. I mean, we met at NYU years before.
Oh, you did? Okay.
At when he was in grad school, but we fell in love after the final performance of On the Town at Encores.
You were Hildy.
I was Hildy, yes. And he came and he waited for me after the show with a mutual friend of ours. He's like, no, let's wait. And they weren't going to wait because, the closing night takes forever to get out to the party. And he waited, and he came up and said hello. And then 2 days later, we went on our first date.
This is Vadim. How do you say his last name?
Vadim Feichner.
Right. He's a very talented musical director.
Yeah.
I saw he'd done a lot of like William Finn shows.
Yeah.
He did Spelling Bee on Broadway, and I also remember him in Elegies, which I loved,
Yes.
off Broadway. Yeah.
And he's also the musical director of this, and he's doing.
Oh, you're working together.
We're working together.
What? Does that mean he makes you sound better than everybody else in the cast? Everything is totally customized for you?
He's my boss.
Yeah.
When we work together, he's the boss. When we're home, I'm the boss. And that's what I always say.
The reason I bring him up is because this show is all about trying to find someone, and you found someone.
I sure did.
That's a Cher song. So I want to hear about your crappy. Well, come on, let's
Let's
go.
Let's do it.
Let's get through
Let's
some
get
of
it.
let's let the a-holes you dealt with to get to
Ooh.
this point in your life. Come on, tell me about some of those a-holes.
I've had a few.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was kind of an a-hole too, but at the time, even when I hit on my current husband a couple of years back, he was like, "You're trouble."
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was. I was like,
he smelled it?
Oh, he smelled it. He jokes around with me. When we first started dating, he goes, yeah, he's like, I think I'm going to be good for you. He knows how to slow me down, but also keep up with me, and we can be each other's, at opening nights, when it's his opening night, I'm the wife,
Right.
and when it's my opening night, he's the wife. And when we work on a show together, we just kind of work the room, and we know how to be business partners, too, which is like a whole separate thing that I never had before. I just never had that.
You recently tweeted. You're on Twitter.
Yes.
You're amusing on Twitter. You recently tweeted, on the east side for a doc appointment.
Yes.
And past my old office building on 59th and Lex. Wow, so many memories, so many ex-boyfriends.
Yes.
Well, first of all, the first question was, what job did you have there?
I used to work for an investment banker. Totally different side of me. I mean, I probably could have gone into finance at some point.
Yeah.
This was back in the early 2000s. During the dot-com boom.
I saw you in Godspell, around that time.
Yes.
You were in Godspell.
Yes.
That was great.
And that was during
That was the first time I ever said, who's that girl?
Right. Who's the girl in the parachute pants?
Yeah, who's that girl in those parachute
Chad
pants?
Kimball. Chad Kimball. Yeah, that was just I was living. My God, in 1 year, I probably lived in 8 different apartments all over the city. But I was a temp, and this is when, I was temping an investment banking firm, and I was temping at Maybelline, I was temping in a law office. And, you meet different guys through different offices, and I started dating someone that I went to high school with, and, it was just a whole different world. This is, before 9/11. I mean, it was just a different world. I mean, I remember faxing my quotes from our reviews to different casting offices after work on my work fax machine.
Right.
So, I could like get people to come see me and the show, and you know, it's just a whole different time, you know.
And you're a Jersey girl.
I'm a Jersey girl.
And there's a lot of these Broadway Jersey girls. Actually, I just saw Nikki M. James did a show at 54 Below. She was talking about being a Jersey girl. Of course, Laura Benanti's a Jersey girl.
She grew up.
There's a lot of these Broadway Jersey, and they're all sort of from near where you're from, right?
All around where I believe. Well, Nikki grew up in Livingston, like me.
Oh, you're actually from the same town.
Yeah, we're from the same town.
Oh, okay.
Went to different schools.
Okay.
I think Laura Benanti is from Milburn, but don't quote me on that. But she's from Jersey because we were in all-state choir together. Like back in the day, Laura Benanti and I were in the same like circles, but we didn't really know each other. But we still joke. We're like, "Oh my God, remember all-state choir?"
You two would have been such trouble together back then.
I'll forget it.
I can't even imagine you two terrorizing the Jersey malls.
I mean,
and going to Broadway shows and stage doors, and it would have been a mess.
We took the bus in the city. I mean, back in the day, you take the bus in the city, you go to Broadway
People
dance.
still take the bus.
I take the train. I'm bridge and tunnel. I mean, I am.
Yeah, you're living in Jersey again.
I am living in Jersey. I live in South Orange.
You and your husband got a house, right?
Bought a house. We have a dog.
I know this from Facebook.
Love it.
Full family. It's like you are now like doing it.
Yeah, no kids right now.
Sadie, married lady.
Yeah, we just, you know what we did? We just do what we basically just moved our life from Manhattan to the suburbs. Except we have a car, we can go to Target and we can go to Costco and.
Can we talk about Target for a minute? I love a Target trip.
Let's.
Like how often do you go to Target? Do you have the red card?
Yes.
The 5% off red card.
I mean, I got the coupons yesterday. If you buy the groceries, you get like $5 off. Here's the thing. You can't go there all the time. You will walk out with $200 worth of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
You're like, well, I need socks.
And they never have new things. It's just every time you go through, you can easily
No, but
fill
the
a
way
cart.
they put things out, like Nate Berkus has a line now, so it's like towels with vases. And you're like, oh, I need a vase. Oh, I need a new picture frame and curtains.
Yeah.
And a dog collar for my new dog. And you looked at me. You're like, not for
I'm
me.
I'm relating to all of this. I'm thinking about Jersey. I'm thinking about you. I just said Sadie, married lady, and I'm remembering. I'm wondering, actually, so there's this show called Funny Girl, and there's this role, Fanny Brice. And I saw you do this role. How many years ago was that?
2001.
And you were incredible. And I'm wondering how much of your life has been haunted by Funny Girl since that moment.
You know, I will be honest and say, before I got married, it weighed
like
heavily on me. Well, and this last round, when it was supposed to come this last time.
All right, so let's
and
fill
all
people
the
in.
Usual suspects, all the usual suspects, all the girls.
So you
that
did this
wanted
role. First of all, this is a role that people have avoided forever because of the Barbra Streisand thing.
As they should, probably.
You did it at Paper Mill Playhouse.
Safe place to do it.
You were incredible.
I was so young.
Like a little too young for it maybe, but nailed it. Like literally, you guys missed it. Nailed it.
It was really fun.
It was good. Really good. And then there was talk about it coming to Broadway.
Totally.
First, some people wanted to bring it to Broadway. And I think you
got the phone call. I mean, it was like
it was like done. Like so for a couple years you were kind of like, "Oh, I'm going to bring this to Broadway."
And well, speaking of walking by my old temp building, 1 block from that temp building on a lunch break is when I got my phone call from my agent at the time. It was right near that library, right off of Lex. And
Saying
I'll
you
never
got
forget.
the
I was
role.
like, "Oh my God."
Or that it was coming to Broadway.
That I was offered the Broadway run,
Wow.
and and the meetings we had and how exciting it was. And then 9/11 happened and the whole world changed.
Right.
And you know what? I believe in the universe and how things happen the way they're supposed to. And nothing will ever replace that production for me. Even if I got to do it in New York, it's a whole different set of rules. It's a whole different thing now. For me, being 23 years old and getting to play that part then in a theater that I grew up going to, just having graduated from college not too far. I mean, before that, meeting Liza Minnelli, meeting all these people coming to see me.
I was there the night Liza Minnelli came.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I saw you interact with Liza Minnelli after the
gagging.
show. Amazing.
Just like, it'll never be that good again. And nothing will ever touch that experience. So this last time when it came around and, all of the usual suspects that would be incredible in that part, any one of us, it was hard, but the bottom line is...
So you were up for it again for the Bart Scher production that
Yes,
didn't come.
That didn't come. And you know what? Life is really good. I'm happy, I'm married, I have a great life. I mean, if that show were to come around again, that would be amazing, but...
So what's the lesson learned? I mean, is it just sort of like growing up and realizing like there's your career and then there's life and...
life is more important.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly reminded all of this that we do, it's part of who we are, but it's not who we are. I have a life, I have other interests. I fell in love with an amazing person. I probably like myself more now and accept where I am too, and that things happen when they're supposed to, and sometimes they don't. And, for a long time I was waiting for that thing.
Yeah.
And in some ways I still am, I guess, but not in the same way. Just not in the same way. And I've learned a lot from people that have come before me. Like when I got to work with Barbara Cook, she would say to me, you know what? I asked her, I go, oh God, Barbara, have you ever wanted to quit and just like too much, too hard? And she's like, you know what? Sometimes it's just about paying the bills and it's just about living your life. And that's like a huge lesson for me. It's like, we're just people. We're doing our thing, and someday we're not going to be here. So it's like, might as well enjoy it.
Right. Right.
And not wait for that thing, because once you get that thing, you're going to want something else.
It's true. Right. Right.
So,
Right. And Funny Girl could have opened on Broadway and closed a month later. Who knows? And then it could have just been more. You just never know how things are going to go.
Yeah, and I'd love to do a new show too. I mean, there's new shows coming, the show I'm in now, and then other shows I got to be a part of certain workshops.
Let's talk about these, because you've done a lot of great things, and you typically steal the show with your ridiculous hilarity. This is sort of your thing. I've seen you do a lot of things, but let's talk about, what about the Great American Trailer Park Musical?
Don't even. That's one of my favorites.
I remember some of your bits, like, vividly. Like, I remember the Shake It Off, Shake It Off.
Shake It Off and the Fly On.
Yeah, you're kind of a natural, and this is probably why you were great in Funny Girl. You're kind of a natural clown, like Fanny Brice. Mm-hmm. When did you realize that you had this ability to make people laugh?
I think when I was really young, I just did it naturally, and just like my family's kind of funny. I think my parents were always funny with each other. I watched a lot of comedians growing up.
Like who?
Some of the best.
Who'd you love?
Like I used to watch VH1 Comedy Spotlight growing up.
Stand-up comedians.
Yeah, stand-up comedians on Star Search, but also like some of the best sitcoms.
Right.
Cheers, Roseanne, Cosby Show. Like the timing, All in the Family, the timing, Carol Burnett Show, Tracy Ullman. So I grew up watching all of this stuff, and I just picked up on it.
You're very pulled and composed today, but if somebody were to go on YouTube and search you, they would find all kinds of crazy shit. You have put a lot of hilarity onto YouTube.
I want to do more. I need to do more, but yes, I have.
Well, there's one video. There's something called the Saturday Night Live audition. Was that an actual Saturday Night Live audition?
Yeah.
So did you audition in person for Saturday Night Live, or was it like a tape?
No,
Like
they loved the tape, but it didn't go further than that.
Okay.
But then I said, okay, well, I'm just going to put it on YouTube. I was like really sad about it. I'll never forget. I was so sad. I was like, I can't even get an audition like in person. Well, I'm just going to put it on YouTube and Facebook, and then all of a sudden it like blew up, and it was great. And I made that tape in 24 hours because I had a window of time. My agent was like, you have 2 days to make this happen.
Wow.
So we made it one day.
You did a bunch of characters.
Yeah, stayed up till 3 a.m. editing it. Did characters on the street. None of that was scripted. It was all made up on the spot. Like I pulled people that were walking down the street. I pulled my puppets out. My friend was literally holding a lamp, like a light, like this, holding a lamp in my apartment, and it was totally like guerrilla style, and we just made it happen. And
I also saw a hilarious video promoting your show, Beautiful Disaster, right? Is what it's called, which I haven't seen.
Which is not over. It's not over.
You did it at Joe's Pub. It's coming back.
We did it at Joe's Pub, but we're developing it into a full-scale theater piece now that we're going to do as a real show.
So this is about. You're the Beautiful Disaster? Is that you?
I'm the Beautiful Disaster.
It's about growing up in Jersey.
And
being you're half Puerto Rican, half Jewish.
Yep.
What's the most Puerto Rican thing about you?
Probably the fiery temper that I can have,
which you're keeping very under control right now.
I'm not angry about anything. I'm happy. Talk to
Piss
Dean
you off. I want to see this.
2 days ago, and I was like, I'm like, I can't.
We'll get your husband in here. Your husband's gonna come in and tell us
about
that.
Oh God, he will eye roll and tell you everything about me. So that's probably like the most Puerto Rican thing about me. Yeah, the passion, the fire.
The most Jewish thing about you.
The hair. I have a lot of hair. The most Jewish thing about me, the humor.
Okay.
My father especially has that. Ba-da-ba-da. You know that? Da, 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 da. He has that naturally. Everyone on my dad's side has that. It's like, like my Aunt Blanche would say, it's like, Aunt Blanche, how's the weather? And she goes, it's the weather. You know, it's the delivery. Like, you can't teach that. I mean, you can't teach that. That's like inherent.
Right.
So that's part of it. So you put those two together and yeah. The marriage didn't last between my parents, but they made 2 great kids, so that's good. And they're both awesome.
So do you play, like, you do a bunch of people, like, in your life in this show?
All my, a bunch of teachers from high school, boyfriends from high school, friends from high school. You know, the big story, the big thing that happened senior year was that I auditioned for the senior year musical, and I kind of got shafted for 3 years. I wasn't the star of the, you know, I was kind of like the underdog. And then it was West Side Story. It's my favorite show. And I wanted to be Maria, and I was a soprano 1 in all-state chorus. And I was like, yes, and I had won like chorus awards, so nerdy. And I didn't get Maria, but I got Anita. Now, as everyone knows, Anita's the best part in the show.
That's the role.
I was not having it. I was like, I want to be Maria. No, I turned it down in high school.
You turned down Anita.
Who does that? Who does that?
Beautiful disasters.
That's right. That's why I wrote the show, because I was like, I have never met anyone else that has turned down a part in high school.
Right.
Like, and it's just because I was just, you know, my parents were going through divorce, and I was like, this sucks, and I kind of just turned bad and basically started.
Maria.
I was like, and my friends, you know, my friends were Anita and Maria and the solo dancer and the cool number, and so all my best friends were in the show, and I turned it down and just kind of spiraled downhill. And then
it's like the world told you can't be a Maria, you're an Anita, and you couldn't handle it.
My mom called the principal. She was like, what, is she not Puerto Rican enough to be? She basically, and I do the whole phone call in the show between the principal and my mother telling the principal how I'm not Puerto Rican enough to be Maria, but I'm Puerto Rican enough to be Anita. Like, my mother like spun this whole conversation.
She turned it into
he was
a
like
whole
cross-eyed.
thing.
Oh yeah, he was cross-eyed by the end of that. And so it's basically was about how I almost didn't graduate.
Oh.
I was a little bit of a klepto.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I kind of but the reason why I wrote the story is the same, kind of goes back to the question you asked me about the Funny Girl stuff. It's because, you know, you can overcome all that, and you can get through all that and come on the other side and realize, wow, you know, and no one did anything to me.
Right,
you know?
right.
I made all that craziness.
Right. Victim mentality.
And here I am. And so.
So when you see, you were also in Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Hilarious. And you won the Clarence Derwent Award for that.
did.
For newcomers.
I did.
A very fancy sounding award.
I have never been tanner in the 2-year span of doing Legally Blonde. I tanned so much. Me and Nikki Snelson, we were like tanning buddies.
But there were a lot of stage door girls at Legally Blonde. Like a lot of big fan base of that show.
I never experienced that before that show.
Yeah, I know. That was
like the first time I ever experienced, like, wow, we get cards and.
Yeah, it was like a whole new generation of these theater girls who still go to theater, but like that was like one of those shows that brought a lot of people in.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So what do you tell them? A lot of them like want to be actors, and
I mean,
when these little girls come up to you and.
I mean, I always just tell them to do their best and to really train. Some people are like, oh, you don't need training. I say, I trained. I studied voice. I studied dance. I did all that, not because. Because I wanted to and I loved it. And I always say, do it because you love it. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're auditioning for schools, if you're auditioning for here in New York, you know, enjoy it. Try to enjoy the process, because it's hard enough as it is.
Right.
You're going to hear no more than you're going to hear yes. So you might as well enjoy it and enjoy the process of getting better at it. And that's what I tell them.
You do great impersonate impressions.
Yes.
Would you mind amusing me? I was there when you met Liza Minnelli, who had just experienced your amazing Funny Girl Pitmore Playhouse. Would you please tell me be Liza Minnelli and tell me what you think of Leslie Kritzer?
Well, you know, I thought you were fabulous. I really did. Who was the director? Robert Johan. Well, I don't really care. But the whole thing is, I really need to see your face next time you sing out. I need you to look in the camp, and then I need you to look out, and then look at Nikki. You were so good. How old are you? You are just, you know, you should play the story of me in the TV movie of my life. You should. Is it cold in here? It feels cold. Is anyone
That's
else
actually
cold?
what she said. That's actually what
she does. She says, she goes,
Do you want to go out for a Coca-Cola?
You did go out for Coca-Cola.
and I did. And when I ordered a Diet Coke, she said to me, which I'm sure she goes,
Why do you drink diet?
and I was like, I was like 23, so I said, my mom didn't want me to eat a lot of sugar growing up, so whatever. She goes,
You want a sip of mine? We can get hyper together.
she gave me notes. I mean, what did she say? She goes, she sang "Who Are You Now" to me at the table.
Just
At the table. She
Just
goes,
sang it out.
she made me do an exercise with her, which I was trying to get her attention. Like, she full on master class, okay, at the little restaurant next to, Paper
Playhouse,
Mill.
yeah.
What else does she said to me, she goes,
You're one of us now. I never thought about it once. You're one of us.
I just kept looking at her mouth. I was like looking at her face.
like
I was like
riveted.
trying to like take it in.
right.
It's so amazing. She probably doesn't remember me, but I'll never forget that.
Could you also had a nice moment. You starred in the brilliantly titled Leslie Kritzer is Patti LuPone at
Les
Lamouche.
Mouches.
Lamouche.
Lamouche.
Directed by Ben Rimolo.
Yes. Who's doing an amazing show.
Patty Issues.
Patty Issues,
right?
which is
He's still on the Patty path.
Unbelievable. Such a great story.
Could you, you can do a good Patti LuPone.
It's been a while, so
It has been a while.
it's not in my bones as much as Liza. It's hard.
It's not like a party trick. People don't
It's
say
not
like,
a
be
party
Patty,
trick.
be Patty.
Unless I were gonna maybe do the show again, which probably won't happen. But if I ever were to do it again, it's just I have the tux.
Patty found it weird that a show was happening about her club act back in the day.
She did.
yeah.
Understandably so. I
Right.
get it. Listen, Patty's Patty. She's amazing. I never took anything away from her.
Right.
All we
Right.
did was put her up on a pedestal.
Right.
But
Tribute.
it's all in good fun.
What about Stephen Sondheim? Can you do him? Did you
No.
deal with him at all? You were
I
in Sondheim
did.
on Sondheim.
Here's the
54.
thing. You can't really do an impression of him because you're so in his presence. Like you're in the presence of God when you're around him. So you just want to say things that are smart. Like you want to just make sure
Did you
everything
pull
that
that
comes
off?
out.
Did you say anything smart?
Yes, I try not to talk too much, to be honest. Because you're talking to a man who's just like so brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like James Lapine, Stephen Sondheim. It's like, who, what? Barbara Cook? I'm sorry.
Right.
Like one day I got to rehearse.
But you're one of us now.
Yeah, you know what? You're one of us. It's just amazing. I mean, I've had a pretty kick-ass career so far. I mean, in the sense that I've worked with some unbelievable people.
So you're spending your summer at Second Stage.
Yes.
With the crazy kids in the hot tub. You're not in the
Yes.
hot tub.
I'm not in the hot tub. Please do not put me in the hot tub. It's great. It's so much fun. We're working on it. We're like in the trenches of previews. I might have a new wig today. Who knows?
Speaking of wigs, tell me about your YouTube character, Rifina.
Rifina.
Let's talk about her. Where'd she come from?
Rifina was born out of making fun of people that riff unnecessarily. It was born out of that. It was just an idea of someone that just all they do is riff, but also her take on the world and everything. I was making up characters just to get on Saturday Night Live. Like I just wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. That was it.
Let's give people a little of her. That she just saw Nobody
whoa.
Loves You. What'd she think? What'd she say?
I really like the show. I think they really could have put me in an episode. Are you single? No? You're very attractive. Paul Wontorek. Oh, nobody loves you. Nobody loves you. It's stupid. It's just stupid. Only with Paul.
I love
Only
it.
I feel comfortable doing this with you.
Will you do a Rifina show people with Paul Wontorek? Can you like give me a little?
Oh, yes. Show people with Paul Wontorek. Paul Wontorek giving you hair and a purple shirt. Paul Wontorek.
Thank you for that. I've been waiting for a theme song, a proper theme song.
Show people. We can go in the
Do I
studio.
have to pay you
and
for
put it down
that,
a
or is that
little.
just a freebie? It's
No,
a freebie.
please. Put it out in the world. I need a job after this.
So you're gonna keep working on Beautiful Disaster. I love this idea.
We're developing. We
So
have
keep be on the lookout
people.
for it.
We have people involved.
We got some money. We got some
We got
some rich people.
We got some heat now.
Put some heat, put some money on that.
I want to get my my solo show out there and make it a real theatrical thing, which will be really fun.
And now you're in Nobody Loves You, and it opens July 18th.
Yes,
The Second Stage Theater off Broadway.
Awesome. Right.
So everyone needs to come check it out.
Amazing cast. It's such a great cast.
Yeah.
I feel like the old lady in the cast, but everyone is amazing. I'm like the
old
den
lady.
mother.
You're
I'm like,
not the old lady.
It's okay, guys. I feel I'm like Miss Hannigan. Like, all right, guys, we're in rehearsal.
I'm actually curious to see what roles you're doing like in like 20, 30 years.
Me too. Bring it on.
Bring on like the Mama Roses and the Miss Hannigans and the.
I'm like really thinking that way now too. 'Cause
You're
I'm
like-
coming into my character actress,
Nah, not quite, but.
not there yet.
There's a lot. There's a lot to come.
Yes.
And
Well,
we're excited to see it all happen. Knock on
Formica.
Formica table. That's what that is.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having
much,
me, Paul.
Leslie. Good to see you.
Good to see
Thank you
you.
for coming. Everybody check out Nobody Loves You at Second Stage Theater.
Woohoo!
Woo! Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.